Hey, it's Cher from the blog and podcast Style and Stewardship. So today I'm sharing a fall inspired recipe, and I think that it is just really delicious. It's one of those makes you feel cozy kind of meals. It's really quick. It comes together like that. All you need is a sheet pan, three ingredients, three main ingredients. You're going to use seasoning, but you get what I'm saying. It only calls for three main ingredients and butternut squash, which you can find at most stores. You're going to find butternut squash and acorn squash and things like that right now. The winter squash that's really hearty and filling and packed with things like beta carotene. And it's just colorful. My son, when he saw it, he was excited. So that always makes me happy. My husband enjoyed it, and it's really filling, makes great leftovers. So this one is gluten-free, it's dairy-free, it's really simple ingredients that I think you are going to really enjoy. So without further ado, here's the recipe. So the easiest way for me is just taking it and washing it in the sink, and then I use just a vegetable peeler. This is really easy. It's kind of slippery, so you have to be careful. As you can see, it gives off a lot of moisture, which is normal for winter squash. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue just shaving all of this thick skin off of it. Watch your fingers. And it's really not that hard. Once you've done it a couple times, it's like peeling a potato basically, or a carrot. So once I'm done with that, what I'm gonna do is cut off the top and the bottom. And then from there, I mean, look at how orange that is. That's how you know it is packed with nutrients. The color is definitely a good telltale sign. So I'm cutting off the bottom, and then I'm cutting them into rings. So these rounds, I'm cutting in them about 1 inch pieces. And I'm just cutting through even with the seeds, and I'll show you how I remove the seeds. Everyone does it differently, but this is just the easiest way for me. So I'm going to cut that. Please be careful doing this. This is not the sharpest knife in the world, but the sound of knife sharpening freaks me out. I don't know why, so I usually let my husband do that. So I'll literally just cut around where the seeds are. So that's one way of cutting it, but I'll also plug in a couple of pictures of how you can cut it in different ways. But that's the easiest way for me. So that's all the middle piece. You're just going to get rid of that, and then you're going to cut it into cube-sized pieces. And I try to just make sure it's not too big where it can roast, because you want them all to kind of be similar sizes, just roundabout, just so that they cook evenly. So I'm just cutting those. You can cut them to whatever size that you like. But since this is only going into the oven for about 45 minutes, I want to give it, they're kind of on the medium, smaller side. Here are some pictures of what it looks like when you just cut a little ring out, and then you literally can just pull that right out. That's another way to cut it. Really easy, but you get the hang of it very easily. So just cutting through a little bit more, and then next up we are just going to add these to a bowl. That's what I've discarded from the side. And this one butternut squash, look at all of this. I believe I paid about $4 for it. They're in season, so yeah, it's the best time to get them. And I got my son in on the action. Actually, he said, "Can I please put the cubes in the bowl?" So he is helping me in the kitchen, and for whatever reason, he really likes doing this. He loves helping me in the kitchen, so I let him pretty much any time that I get. I have a sheet pan with some parchment paper, about 2.5 tablespoons of melted coconut oil. I'm putting that on the butternut squash. I also have about a pound of Brussels sprouts, and I've just cut those in halves after I've washed those. 3 to 4 chicken breasts, boneless, skinless, and then I just use kitchen shears and cut those up. Then I'm just mixing the chicken in first so it gets coated with a little bit of the oil. And then next I'm going to add in my seasoning. So 1 teaspoon of salt, or whatever, salt to your taste. About a ½ teaspoon of garlic. I just eyeball that. ½ teaspoon of the sage. And then, it's probably about a ½ teaspoon of thyme. I'm going to add that in there. So we're gonna mix that all up. We have all the seasonings in there, a teaspoon of salt, 2.5 tablespoons of melted coconut oil, half teaspoon of sage, half teaspoon of thyme, and we have about maybe a half teaspoon of garlic and onion. And then over here, we have our Brussels sprouts that we're gonna add. I have a sheet pan with a big piece of parchment laid over it, and that is where we're gonna roast it, 425 degrees. Add it in our Brussels sprouts. We're gonna stir that and try not to break the leaves, but a couple of them are broken in there. It's all good. So mix all that together. Look at the colors already. So we've got the Brussels sprouts that I halved, and I am going to just stir all that in there, and we're just gonna pop it on a sheet pan. So I actually had to get a second sheet pan because I guess there was so much butternut squash. I'm not mad at it. We've got 2 pans of food. I mean, I'm happy about this. So that is what it looks like. Look at all the color. I mean, this makes me hungry just seeing the color. I mean, minus the raw chicken. But this is gonna be so good. So this is what it looks like when it's all said and done. It's a little caramelized action going on with the Brussels sprouts and the butternut squash. And then, as you know, we made 2 pans, so here is the other portion. And I mean, this just screams fall to me. This is just like the perfect fall recipe. Everything in a bowl, super easy. And I actually like when they get a little charred like that. So there you have it. That is dinner. So I must say, sheet pan meals, crock pot meals, and anything that will go in the Instant Pot are my best friend when it comes to weeknight cookings. You don't want to be in the kitchen forever, and you still want to feed your family really, really well. This is one of those recipes that will hit all those marks. So I hope that you love it. If you try it, let me know. I would love to hear about it. Until next time, your life matters. What you do that matters. So what will you steward well?